The scientific committee is a very important committee in organizing any conference, and certainly in organizing ICASA 2015. This is the committee that looks at all the presentations, and there are various categories of presentations. There are presentations which are driven by various themes, and there are workshops, skills building workshops, and more importantly today we are looking at presentations that are based on abstracts. And abstracts are usually compositions that are sent in by various scientists and various people who are addressing the question of HIV/AIDS in Africa, and they would like to make a presentation. So they send these, and these are scored by various experts, and the process that we're going through now is to look at the scores of those abstracts, selecting which ones we think are worth presenting at this conference, and categorizing them into various sessions. We look at the significance of the topic that's being addressed and whether it's very relevant to HIV/AIDS today as we know it. As you know, HIV/AIDS has been changing tremendously, especially driven by research. So what was topical 5 years ago, obviously is not topical today. So we do look at the relevance of the topic itself, but we also balance a number of things. HIV/AIDS, as you know, affects a whole cross-section of people. So we look at presentations of AIDS issues in children, in women, in adults, in those who are receiving antiretroviral therapy for the first time, in those who have failed antiretroviral therapy and are receiving second line treatment, and all those sort of areas which keep changing with time are the ones that we focus on, and we bring in experts from all parts of Africa who then input into which areas they think ICASA 2015 should be addressing. We have 5 tracks. The first track, which is track A, is on basic science. The second track, track B, is on clinical science, treatment and care. Track C is on epidemiology and prevention science. Track D is on social science, human rights and political science. And track E is on health systems and economics implementation science. So we have received a total of 1,545 abstracts under all these tracks. Naturally, some of the tracks will have received more abstracts, and basically that's the process we're now going through, grading them, sifting them, and putting them into categories. As you can appreciate, this is a tremendous amount of work, going through 1,545 abstracts. We expect that this process will be completed in this 2-day, what we call marathon meeting, today the 27th of August and tomorrow the 28th of August. Once that is done, then there is obviously the secretarial work. And we expect that maybe within 4 weeks, that information will be available to those who have submitted the abstracts so that they can prepare to travel, and they can obviously now embellish their actual presentations for dissemination when they come over in November, December later this year. The conference that is being held in Harare has certain distinctive aspects. As the audience might know, this conference was supposed to have been held in Tunisia, but because of certain issues, it was shifted to Harare. Now, people may feel that because of this late change, that there may be issues related to organization of ECASA. Let me assure everybody that ECASA has been organized, as you have said, for 18 years, and there is already a system in place. And whether you hold the conference in a particular country and shift to a different country, the systems are in place. So we do not expect that there will be any difference at all in terms of the quality of science and the information that is given by shifting ECASA from Tunisia to Harare. Obviously, the thematic areas are already clearly defined, and they relate to, say, antiretroviral therapy. And antiretroviral therapy has now really galloped. And there are many things that are being talked about in relation to ramping up, making the diagnosis, doing HIV testing and counseling to ensure that as many people get onto treatment as possible. The other important aspect of this ECASA will be a discussion on the guidelines, the recommendations that the WHO is now going through to ensure that a greater number of people, and I will not preempt this because this is going to be a big launch, so we expect that that will probably be the main highlight of the Harare ECASA meeting.